Greetings, YouTube. My wife and I got a chance to see Jupiter Ascending. I got a good, cheap copy at Walmart. And I've been looking forward to this because I'd had people tell me that it was kind of the classic male hero arc. So it's the traditional story of the male hero, except the main character is a female protagonist. And so I was kind of looking forward to that. Was it Channing Tatum? I kind of like him. He I don't think he's a bad actor. He looks good. I think he's good at that physicality. He brings a lot to the stage. It's science fiction with a big sweeping space opera kind of thing. I'm into that. I kind of like that kind of thing. I'm a Star Wars fan. Fifth Element, Guardians of the Galaxy. I kind of like that. So, all right, okay. This sounds like it's going to hit the right notes for me. And it was an attractive film. I think it fails on its story arc. While the character ends up at the end of the film, and yeah, there are going to be all kinds of spoilers here, so be aware of that. And at the end of the film, having a great deal more political and financial power. Her personal story as a hero, her arc as a hero, there's no acquisition of personal power. In all of the classic tales of heroics, the hero gains or hones personal skills, and our main character of Jupiter never does that. She is physically and skill-wise the same person at the end of the film as she was at the beginning. So I think they kind of lost out on that. Even though she realizes that she is intimately connected to this greater political structure, and they have all kinds of technology at their disposal, I don't think they ever use any of it to improve her physically. And the skills she brings to it is, like, as far as savvy and things, I think are things that she picked up living on Earth. She didn't pick anything up once she realized the big reveal that you are, in fact, in actuality, some nobility for this space empire. So I was a little disappointed in that. As far as the cinematography is concerned, the visuals and such, it was a very attractive situation. I liked the ships, the technology was kind of cool, but I think there was an oversaturation of visual imagery. There was like too much detail on the screen for me. There wasn't enough visual quiet. I found myself just like, I could not tell what was going on in some of the scenes. Not because it was just rapid cutting, and that there is some of that involved, but just because there was so much going on that my eye couldn't take it all in at once, and I think that's a failure. Now, I've often brought up Fifth Element. I've already done it once in this video, but to me, Fifth Element hit the sweet spot. Guardians of the Galaxy did as well, of enough visual interest, but not oversaturation. And to me, Jupiter Ascending oversaturated the visuals of the film. And I don't think for a second that the character of Jupiter would have fallen for the marry me and everything would be better. No, I don't think she would have fallen for that. That's a line of BS. It's a family, it's a society where the only thing they value is time and power. And when someone proposes to you, literally upon your first meeting, it's about power, and you are not the person with the position of a negotiation in that. You are being used. Now, there's another thing in here that kind of bugged me, that she's supposed to be like essentially the genetic reincarnation of the sibling's mother. The idea being that in the genetic shuffle of life, that the genes could pop up a second time, and when they do that, they consider it a kind of an act of reincarnation. For them, genes are divine. Okay, I can understand that. Genes are divine. I do. That kind of makes sense to me on some level. However, the possibility that the genes would show up again is as close to zero as you can get. Now, let me explain why I say that. Let's say, for example, that we have had 100 billion humans in our species history. We haven't had that many, but 100 is a nice number. It's over, 10, so we're just going to take 100 for the sake of conversation here. So if there's been 100 billion people, out of all the possible genetic combinations that there can be with our genetic structure, with all our number of different chromosomes and such, that 100 billion makes up 0.09,000 zeros 0.2. Okay, so a 0.0, 9,000 more zeros, then another 0.2 at the end. So 100 billion people make up as close to nothing of our genetic diversity as can be conceived by a human mind. So the probability that there would be a second shuffling of the same genetic history is crazy cakes. It isn't going to happen. Ever. And I know enough about genetics to know that this is BS. Now, your average viewer doesn't. So your average viewer is like, oh, maybe there's 1 in a billion chance or something. No, that's not a 1 in a billion chance. It is not even 1 in 100 billion chance. It is so small that you could not write that number down. All right? It just doesn't happen. And the people in this world who have super science, and yet they have a bureaucratic system that makes ours look streamlined, there's just too many inconsistencies. If you had that kind of technology, and they have it, it's all over the place, they would not be worshiping genes the way they do, thinking that people will show up twice, because it won't happen. All right? Nor would they have a bureaucracy system that could be just as convoluted, but it would not be as archaic. All right? I'm not saying it wouldn't necessarily be as complex, but it wouldn't be as archaic, because it literally looks like something out of 1900. That's what it looked like. It looked like something out of 1900, not some far-flung, futuristic, incredibly diverse, powerful universe of, space government. No, it was just silly. It was made there to make a joke, and I think it detracted from the whole overall storyline. There were also, a few too many, close calls, save the day, save the day. It was too improbable. You pushed it to the point where I came to realize that none of these characters can die, so I don't care anymore. When you've made me believe that nobody can die, nobody's going to die, why care? Now, in the last scene of the film, our space princess, Jupiter, comes back to Earth and returns to cleaning toilets for a living. Bullshit. Okay? Just because she doesn't want to be a fascist leader of the planet Earth that she owns as part of her inheritance, not her entire inheritance. Okay? She is fabulously wealthy. Inconceivably wealthy. If she had just translated that into things that are valuable here, she could have explained it away with a lottery win. Because they are changing people's memories on Earth on a almost daily basis. Okay? These people are erasing and rewriting people's memories all the time. So, there's no reason you couldn't have had her just win a lottery and bingo, her family's taken care of, never has to worry about it again, everybody's happy. So there's too many things in this I didn't like. I would have preferred to see it on a big screen. I think the visuals would have been less of a problem for me if it had been on a big screen as opposed to a small screen, seeing it in letterbox. I also felt that the text was too small. Since it was on a television, I think they should have redone that and put it in the letterbox section in a larger text, because I essentially couldn't read it. My wife was having a hard time reading it, and her contrast vision is better than mine. And even with the glasses and such, I couldn't read it, so it was kind of a fail with the subtitles. But it wasn't a bad story. It just fell far short, I guess, of what my expectations were, which may be my own fault. But the whole recurrence of someone's genetics, bullshit. The whole returning to be scrubbing toilets for a living, bullshit. No one's going to do that, I'm telling you. I've scrubbed toilets for a living. You suddenly become the leader of the planet. Even if you want to stay behind the scenes, you're not scrubbing toilets for a living. Yeah. So, fun film. I'm glad I saw it. I'll probably watch it again at some point. But it could have been something up there with Fifth Element and Guardians of the Galaxy, and it wasn't.